It looks like we are live. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for tuning in to this live stream, which is also going to be another episode of the Power of Pleasure podcast. My name is L'Oreal, and I'm your sensual systems architect, and I help women create systems to support the soft life that they want to live. And today I'm going to do my best to keep it short, keep it simple. I want to be here for less than 15 minutes. Your girl got a lot of stuff to do. Those of you who follow me on other platforms, you know that I am participating in the Go Brunch World Building Expo tomorrow. It is a 12-hour event. I am not presenting all 12 hours, but I do have about 7 or 8 slots where I will be presenting. It is 100% free. So the link to join me at the expo, it will be somewhere around this post. And I have a couple of things that I need to get done this evening to make sure that I'm prepared for tomorrow. So I won't be here long, but I do want to pop in because I missed y'all yesterday. I was working on expo stuff. The day got away from me. Plus, it was Sunday and I had to do hair. I have 3 girls and I had 2 heads to do. And so I needed to go ahead and get started with that. Those are my kids coming in, and this is just gonna be a raw and real because I'm not gonna be doing any editing for this since I'm doing a live stream. But I wanted to just pop in and take a couple of minutes and get into today's topic. And if you haven't guessed by the title, we're going to be talking about performance, right? Who were you before you were performing? The truth of the matter is that a lot of us learn how to perform before we could even fully breathe, right? Like coming fresh out the womb, you get those smacks on the butt if you're not crying, right? Um, when you do start to cry, everybody's trying to shush you because they don't want you to be upset or whatever the case may be, and on from there. We learn how to perform and how to people please and how to fit into mold at very young ages, and we learn how to do that from our family, our friends. We learn that from school. We learn that from church. We learn that from all of the different people and places that we have experiences in. Those things those things shape who we become, right? And so we learn a lot of that. But if you could take a minute to think about who you were before all of that. I'm not asking you to think all the way back to when you were in your mother's womb or anything like that. But I am asking you to think about who were you before you got to the point where you are today. Who were you before you fell into people pleasing? Who were you before um you fell into superwoman syndrome, being the strong friends, um doing all the things for everybody else, like holding it down, right? For the sake of survival. That's the other thing. Survival, you know also teaches us how to perform. And that shows up in code switching, that shows up in shrinking so that other people feel like they've done something, right? Hiding your accomplishments. Maybe even when you were a child, you excelled at everything you did, but you had other siblings that maybe weren't doing as well as you. Maybe they weren't performing at your level academically or athletically or creatively. And you had a family member that told you maybe you were doing too much or you needed to tone it down a little bit or whatever the case may be. So think back to who you were then before someone told you that you needed to act a certain way, do things a certain way, or even look the part in order for people to take you seriously and care about you. I have found myself performing in many ways over the years, and it's something that I have to actively practice and work to not do. Like for those of you who can see me, I got freshly washed hair. I dropped some sweet potato pie on my shirt, but I'm here, right? Again, not clear. It has absolutely betrayed me these last couple of days, but I'm sure that's due to stress. But again, like I'm showing up. and I'm being who I am and I'm sharing what I know with you all. Please close that door because it is very loud. That dryer is loud. Um, but yeah, so I'm showing up here and the one true space where I know I can be myself and I don't have to worry about performing is when I'm writing in my journal. And when I think back to my childhood, that was really the only place I could lay things bare and talk about how I felt and what I wanted for my life without being judged, without fear of like being put on punishment or facing any kinds of consequences. That was in my diary. And then you really couldn't tell me nothing because I had a little lock on my diary, right? And and nobody really knew, nobody could pick that lock. I think my little brother broke my lock off once, but for the most part, I was able to literally lock my secrets away. And over time I started to lock away parts of myself on those pages. And so here I am in my 30s actively unlearning so that I could remember who that person was and everything that was so special to her. And also remember to celebrate myself along the way because I have done a lot of things that she probably never even dreamed that she would be able to do. Right. And so if you don't take anything else away from today's conversation, I really want you to think about what did you love before anyone told you who to be? You know, we are in day 9 of the Write Like You Remember challenge, and we do a lot of that work inside that space. But the journal prompt that I want to share with you today is what did you love before anyone told you who to be? And then if you want to go a little bit deeper than that, a follow-up question would be where am I still performing? And what would it look like for me to stop? Where am I still performing and what would it look like for me to stop? Because even though you may have learned along the way that you have to perform or, act a certain way, be a certain way, do some manipulation or whatever the case may be in order for you to be accepted and loved, that's really not the truth. There are people that are going to love you and accept you for who you are. They're going to love you at your best, they're going to love you at your worst. They're gonna be there with you, and they are hopefully gonna help to, um, shift your perspective on life, and you can hopefully do the same for them, right? You can grow and evolve together and go through that journey of life together. And I'm not talking about, I'm not only talking about romantic relationships, I'm talking about platonic ones too, because those are so very, very important, especially when it comes to reclaiming your identity and becoming a whole person. If you have ever felt like you lost parts of yourself in your job, in the obligations that you have to your family. If you felt like you have lost yourself to your relationships, to habits, right? To things that you've done that may not have been healthy. If you've ever dealt with any of that, then it is absolutely important for you to have sacred and safe spaces and containers where you can just come and lay it all bare and be who you are. And those people that surround you in those spaces, they will love and accept you just as you are. You don't have to perform. And that freedom can be scary. It can be so scary, it can be so intimidating, but just continue to lean in, all right? That is all I have for you all this evening. I hope that you will forgive the intrusions and all the noise. I was not expecting my babies to come in the house so early. But I guess I should have known better because these new age children act like they are allergic to outside. But with all that said to say, I hope that you all got something from this. Again, I will be in the expo tomorrow. I'll have the link somewhere around this video. It's also not too late for you to join. Right, like you remember, it is a 30-day journaling journey. We are on day 9, and I believe that things are going very, very well in that space. Our next check-in is going to be this coming Sunday. So if you want the information about that, it's around this video somewhere. And um, I have information about that posted on my Substack and other social media channels. If you're following me on Facebook, if you follow me on Instagram, I have the information available. And you can always shoot me a DM or leave a comment, and I will get back to you. So I'm about to go on about my merry way, and I'm gonna let you get to yours. I will catch you all tomorrow, and I love you. Be safe. And shit, go and live your best life and stop performing for these folks because it's just unnecessary. You don't need the stress. And if they're not providing you with one of the three F's, then you should have no F's to give, right? And for those of you who don't know what the three F's are, if they are not feeding you, financing you, or fucking you should have absolutely no F's to give to them or about whatever it is that they want or need. All right. So now I'm done for real. I'll see y'all tomorrow.